yellow, so pineapple juice.
Wants pineapple
This
juice.
corner, blue, so with a straw. And this corner, pink, and an umbrella. Every speak book has a spell page, which allows you to spell out words and phrases that don't appear elsewhere in the book. There are full instructions inside the front cover. Easy, really. If you want to find out where to get your own copy, or find out about other versions that are available, go to speakbook.org.
Correct. Okay, so that's just another tool, and again, I find this really useful at things like 3 o'clock in the morning when what you want to say is there's a cramp in my left leg, because if I have to take 5 minutes to pull my electronics out and plug it in and turn it on and boot it up and calibrate it, that's a long time to be in pain without getting relief. That's a long time to know that what I really need you to do is get the bedside commode. That's a long time, it's a desperately long time to have an itch. Remember, the length of a minute depends on which side of the bathroom door you're on. Anybody who wants to try using a speakbook, I've got 3 of them here. You can check it out and see how it feels. I'm not going to have you break up and do that right now because there's just a lot more stuff that I want to talk about, and I don't think I'm going to take that time. Okay, so that's the low-tech stuff. Okay, remember, it's not either or, it's and. There's a lot of great reasons for low tech, there's a lot of good places for it. There are times that you may find that there are times that your speech is functional and times when your speech is not so functional, and that may fluctuate throughout the day. It may change depending on what you did yesterday or the day before. It may change depending on whether or not you've got a cold. So sometimes having something simple like this is really a godsend. So now we're going to talk about speech generating devices, or SGDs. And we're going to talk about them relative to face-to-face communication, but we're also going to talk about them relative to everything else that they can do for communication. So when I think of communication as a speech-language pathologist, I not only think of being able to say things to people face-to-face, but I think of being able to communicate via email, text messages, talking on the phone, using Skype or FaceTime or some other video conferencing, using the internet, whether I'm getting onto a chat room, and using social media. If I'm sending somebody something on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or any of the 1,000 things that are out there that I don't really know about because I don't have teenagers. So there's a lot of stuff out there and I want people to be able to keep using it. I very rarely get to give good news regarding the government, but today I'm going to give you some. I'm not going to go into the history. I'm going to tell you that when it comes to high-tech speech devices, they're covered by Medicare. They are a covered benefit. Okay? It used to be that you could only use them for face-to-face communication, and we had to kind of go around hoops to be able to get you to use them for internet and email and text messaging and other things. Medicare put out a new national coverage decision in July of 2015. Hallelujah. What they said in that new decision is that they agree that communication includes emailing, texting, telephone, etc. So while Medicare will not pay for your internet connection, it will not pay for a computer just because you can't use your hands and your voice works. But if you have a problem with your speech, you are no longer kept from being able to use this stuff. When you have Medicare and you get a communication device funded through Medicare, it will come to you unable to do those things because the government can't provide it that way. But the manufacturer will send you a notice, it's called an advanced beneficiary notice, that you will sign saying that you understand that being able to use these other features of it are something that you have to pay for. It means you have to pay to unlock the device. What is the current fee to unlock devices from most manufacturers? Somewhere between $45 and $50. It's a one-time fee. Okay, so Medicare pays for speech-generating devices. Medicare pays for devices that are accessible by eye gaze. How many of you have heard of the Gleason Act? The Gleason Act went into effect in January of 2016. The Gleason Act said that Medicare will cover eye gaze as an access method to communication devices. This is very exciting. Medicare was paying for it before, but in 2014 they went through this period of not paying for it. So now with the Gleason Act, they have to. Okay? But let's keep our minds on about that, because unfortunately what a lot of people don't know is the Gleason Act is only good for 3 years. Okay? So in 2 years, when you get an email or a phone call from me asking you to go and tell Medicare that we need to renew the Gleason Act and for you to write to your senators and your congresspeople, please, 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 that's how we got it in the first place. All right, enough of that soapbox. What else can we do with these speech-generating devices? We can do environmental control. What's that? Maybe you want to change channels on your television. Maybe you want to turn on a light, turn on a fan, put the head of your bed down. These are things that have the capability, that these devices can have the capability to control through infrared technology. Other than controlling your television and lights, if you want to control your bed, for example, there's usually going to be some out-of-pocket costs with it. I'm not here to talk about money, I'm here to talk about capability. And I know that Jen and Gus and any of the other vendors will work with you in terms of the kinds of things that you want to be able to do and figure out ways to try to make those things happen. Maybe you want to listen to music, whether it's you've got a bunch of CDs that you want to listen to, or you're an internet radio person, you're having a love affair with Pandora, whatever it may be. You can do that. Maybe you want to take a look at photos. Maybe you're the family photo person who does all that manipulating so everybody looks really great on that vacation to Hawaii. You can still do that. Maybe you're an electronic media person. That's how you get your news, whether it's on the Yahoo page or whether it's on the New York Times or the Detroit Free Press. Maybe you're a book reader. Maybe you want to read, maybe you have a Kindle, or maybe you want to read books electronically in another way. These are things that people do with speech-generating devices. Maybe you want to play some games, whether it's solitaire or free cell or something more complicated, or even all those incredibly crazy games with Facebook that everybody seems to think you want to know how they scored. You can still do that. Or maybe you're somebody who uses the computer to do other things. Maybe you take care of the family finances and you use a program like QuickBooks or Quicken to be able to do that. Maybe you do spreadsheets, maybe you do word processing, maybe you're a writer or a poet. Maybe you write music and you've got some special software that lets you do that. These are all different kinds of things that you can do, all of it using your eyes. I put this slide up here because what matters is what matters to other people. It doesn't matter what's important to me. So whenever anything major happens to me, you'll be the first to know after Facebook. Okay, sorry, that's not my quote, but I'm sure it fits a lot of people. I should be working right now, but saying hi to you is more important. That would be mine. So it matters what you want to do. And when I actually sit down with somebody and I do an evaluation, I go through a whole list of things, of all these tasks that I've just shown you, and I have you rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. How important are they? Because that's what drives my evaluation. Okay? I want to know what you want to do, because that's what we're going to focus on. And the stuff that you're not interested in, we're not wasting our time on. There are essentially 3 different types of systems that function with eye gaze. The first are all-in-one system, and that's a system that has the eye gaze built in. It comes with a device, and the device is generally a fully functioning computer, and also is accessible with eye gaze. The tech, and here are some pictures of standalone. This is the eye gaze Edge from LC Technologies. It's this one right here, and Gus is going to give us a demonstration of that shortly. This is the I series from Tobii Dynavox. Jen's got 2 of them set up in the back. We'll be giving demonstrations. This is the Words Plus system, Easy Keys with iPro. I don't happen to have that here. This is the Accent 1400 from the Prenke Rummick system. I'll be demonstrating that too. and this is the Winslate 13 from Forbes Rehab Services. Why am I showing you these? I'm hoping that you're going to let me help you do an evaluation. But you know what? There's other people out there. There's people at Beaumont, there's people at U of M. There are other people in the state of Michigan who can help you get evaluated for a system, a communication device that's accessible with eye gaze. But do make sure that when you go to somebody to do that, that you go to somebody who knows that there's more than one system out there and that tries 3 different systems, okay? These are systems that I call standalone cameras. So now they've come up with these little cameras that you can attach to a laptop and make it accessible with your eyes, or that you can attach to a tablet. Tablet meaning it's running Windows, okay? Not iPad. These don't work on iPads. They don't work on Androids. They only work on Windows. But if you are somebody who's been using your computer for a long time and you want that kind of mobility, this is one of the ways you can go. This particular camera is the PCI Go from Tobii. This is the MyGaze from Virtual Rehab. They're a German company, and there are a couple of other systems on the market. I was just in Toronto 2 weeks ago at the biennial conference of the International Society for Augmentative and Alternative Communication. There's a couple of companies that are coming out with new cameras, so I really try to stay on top of that stuff so that I can give you all the options that are there. Question?
Which Windows system? That real expensive one that just came out?
Windows?
Yeah.
Whatever operating system, 7, 8, 10.
On the tablet, the one that costs $2,000.
That's a different question, okay, Windows versus tablet, because I've used them on this laptop here. It's running Windows 8.
Smaller and more easily carried around.
They are, but chances are if you're using your eyes, you're not really worried about carrying something, because you probably don't have good hand movement. So the tablets are small and sleek and they're really helpful, but remember that smaller space gives you less real estate. And it is not as easy to point to little tiny things with your eyes as it is with a mouse. So tablets can be fantastic, and this is why you can't make a decision without trying it out. Because you know what, maybe you're one of those guys who's got that amazing precision, and the tablet's gonna be good for you. You don't know. You won't know till you sit down, I promise you. You won't know till you sit down. But I have seen people do some pretty amazing things, okay? And so if it turns out that that kind of precision isn't what's working well for you, then maybe you need a different device. But this is why you have to look at the different devices, okay? Let's say you're somebody who doesn't have that good precision. If you sit down in front of a tablet computer and you can't use it, does that mean you go home and say, dang, I can't use eye gaze? No, it means that we have to look at a different system that might pick you up better, that might give you more space for bigger targets. So there's lots of options out there, and that's why we really have to look at them.
The cameras are not covered by Medicare.
That is correct. That's an excellent point. Thanks, Gus. Cameras are not covered by Medicare. So if you want a camera to be able to access your own computer at home, Medicare is not going to buy it for you. Now, interestingly enough, one sec, Medicare will buy you software to put on your computer for communication, for speaking, software that talks out loud. But at the moment, they're not buying cameras.
What is the price range for those cameras in general?
They run between about $1,200 and $2,200,
Okay.
give or take.
I'll go.
Other questions? Okay, all good questions. There are no bad questions. If you have a question, it's a good one. And then there are wearable devices. And I didn't bring this with me because if you want to take a look at it, we'll get into it in my office. But this is a pair of glasses with a processor on the glasses that you wear, and it's actually looking at your eye, and it's putting up a little screen right in front of you that you can use to be able to type things on and also to access the computer. It is not new technology, but this is a new device that's out there. This is the Easy Speak by Lusovo Technologies. It's a new company out of Portugal, and I am fortunate enough to actually, they gave me one for my clinic, so we can take a look at that. It is not covered by insurance. So part of being covered by insurance means that there has to be somebody selling it. There has to be a vendor who's a Medicare approved vendor who's carrying it. And so for companies who are outside the United States, unless they've opened subsidiaries in the United States, they're not gonna be covered. But that doesn't mean that's not gonna happen, okay? The other thing, I don't know what kind of money you have. That's not my business. My business is to show you what's out there and find a way to get it for you. So I don't not tell people about stuff that you pay for out of pocket, because maybe you have those resources and that's what you're interested in. What I will tell you is that whatever you're interested in, I will make every attempt to get a hold of it, to at least try it, and I usually can.
3 questions on that. Does that take a lot of precision?
Yes.
Can
Does
you-
it take a lot of precision? Yes.
Can you see out of it?
Yes. Can you see out of it? Yes.
And how much is it?
About $6 grand.
Okay.
I would think twice about getting any camera not connected right to the tablet.
So Ian says he would think twice about getting any camera not connected to the tablet.
Because they're very, very sensitive
Because they're very sensitive
and a lot of banging about.
and a lot of banging around.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a lot of banging around. And I think that that's a really good point. They are very sensitive. This particular system does connect wirelessly to an Android tablet, but it's a wireless connection, and anybody who's used wireless or Bluetooth knows that it does have a mind of its own and will sometimes walk off the planet for a little while to go on an excursion. And they don't usually tell you when they're coming back. So that is a very good point. There is also the flip side of it, which is that if you're somebody who's got some positioning issues and it's really hard to get into a position where you can use your eyes and move them around, then having something that you can wear may be the right answer. So this is why there is no one size fits all.
How long would it take a person to learn how to use those glasses? Is that?
There are way too many variables to be able to answer that.
Okay.
Some people inherently get it, other people don't. I will tell you though, when I tried the prototype in February in Orlando, I had a very difficult time with it because apparently my eyes are spaced fairly close together and the glasses and I were not friends. They since modified it and they brought out their new version to me 2 months ago and I had a much better experience. But I will tell you, as somebody who's really good at using eye gaze, is that it's not easy.
But how about if somebody wears glasses, for example, let's say they have reading glasses, how does the prescription of their glasses interfere with that?
You would have to get that with the prescription of your glasses.
Okay.
It's a good question. Like I said, no bad questions, no bad points. Okay? So again, the fact that, they do get bumped around, they are sensitive. Not having a connection can make it very difficult to do, or relying on wireless can make it difficult. Okay, so those are the different kinds of systems and we're going to see them. I just want to point out a few things that eye gaze is not. Eye gaze does not work with iPads. End of story. Will it? When my crystal ball comes out of the shop, I'll be sure to let you know. Apple is very controlling, and so it's not so easy for people to do things. Okay? I couldn't even tell you when I think that's going to happen. I have no idea. What I can tell you is it is not happening today. These systems are not Mac-based. If you're a Macintosh user, the cameras do not work on a Macintosh. Are there ways to control your Mac? Absolutely. For example, the system that Gus is going to demonstrate, the iGaze Edge, and the one that Ian uses, is one that has 2 little USB dongles. So USB are those little things that you can plug into the side of your computer, and by plugging one into your computer and one into your iGaze system, you can actually use your iGaze system to control your computer, and we're going to watch a video of Ian doing that in a few minutes. Okay, so there are ways to do it. Another way I've done it, how many of you have ever had a problem with something and tech support has had to get onto your computer from somewhere else? That's called remote support, okay? I can do that. We can do that. And the technology that we use to do that, you could do with your system onto a Mac. I've got a guy who is a Mac user through and through. He has a device and he uses a program called TeamViewer to control his Mac. Okay, so there's workarounds for so many things. Okay, I just want to tell you again, I am committed to trying to find ways for you to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do. And then eye gaze is now working on Android. There is more hope, I think, in the future, or the more immediate future, for Android than there is for Mac. I was at the conference that I was at in Toronto 2 weeks ago. There was a company that was selling one of the freestanding camera systems, and they also had a prototype of a Mac that they were using with head movement. So moving your head was what moved the mouse, but then they were using the front-facing camera and some facial recognition software for clicking. Okay, so that's sort of similar to eye gaze, and I think that I'm hoping that that's going to appear more near in the future. Android tablets, incidentally, can be controlled. You can use a mouse on an Android tablet. Okay, you can use a head mouse on an Android tablet. You cannot do those on an iPad. Okay, so just a couple of things about what we can do and what we can't do. Okay, so what makes success in using an eye gaze system? How do you figure out what's successful? Well, certainly being able to accomplish a task is what determines success. If you can do it, then you're successful. But the factors that I think are really important, one is calibration. When you start to use a system, you sit down in front of it and you calibrate it. And what it means is that it puts targets on a screen and you follow them around with your eyes, and then the computer figures out how and where you're looking. Okay, and every system needs to be calibrated. And some of them need to be more calibrated more often than others for some users. Okay, I would say that the most frequent question I get is, which system is the best, Lisa? I want the best one out there. The best one out there is the one that lets you do what you want to do the easiest way possible. Okay? I will not endorse or unendorse any product. They are all useful, and you got to get in front of them to figure out what the right answer is. A good calibration lets you get to those smaller targets. Okay? Being able to do something independently, to me, is a determiner of success. How fast you can do it and how efficiently you can do it. And efficient is fast and accurate, because fast and inaccurate, to me, is useless. Okay? If you do it really fast and you keep making mistakes and having to fix them, it's not so helpful. It's actually overall faster to do it a little bit slower and be right and not have to go back and fix things. Because I'll tell you, you can sit down in front of a system and you can go boop, 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 and it's working really great. All of a sudden you make a mistake and it's like you're the pebble that just took the first bounce, turning into the avalanche.
So it sounds like there's a